This is Washington State Whitetail with co-host Ron Spomer on Winchester Whitetail Revolution.
See him?
Yep. Yeah, when it starts to happen, all you're looking at is antlers and eyeballs.
What, is this guy an idiot? What's he saying?
Coming across the hillside. Look at this.
I don't see
He's got some antlers. I can see it with my naked eye. Right in the sunshine coming in that open grass. Just came out of the forest. Hey!
Winchester Whitetail Revolution is brought to you by Winchester Ammunition, the American legend, Bushnell Optics, Magnify Life, Code Blue, perfecting the science of hunting, Winchester Repeating Arms, the guns that work.
Yeah, you see those two does? Right along the edge of the river, down by the creek, and then moving out across that heavy ground. They'll start moving out of all this brush and timber about 5 o'clock. You want to be up there. That's it. That's what we're going to do. I want to get up on top. There's a buck moving around.
You got a buck?
Yeah, I got a buck.
Where?
Why don't you get the rangefinder and let's spot it right up here. About 2/3 of the way just below the big pine tree.
What did you say you thought it was? 550?
I thought it was 550.
Guess again, it's 609.
Well, that was pretty close.
Yeah, well, it's way too far to shoot.
He was a nice 4x4. Probably like a 130, 135 class.
That's worth looking at. Let's get over there, guys. What can we do? We're gonna have to drop off here. Get into the bottom.
Across the flats.
I'll bet you by about, what, halfway across the flats, we'll knock that distance in half.
In half, yeah.
We could shoot from there.
And we can get up there before it's too dark.
All right, I want to get my shooting sticks to take along. If I have to take a long shot, I want to be steady.
Eastern Washington's the far western edge of Whitetail Range, where Whitetail Revolution co-host Ron Spomer hunts with Grouse Creek Ranch guide Skeets Dunn. Washington's definitely going to extremes for whitetail, but the hunting's worth it. Eastern Washington has feed and wheat and other farm fields, and shelter in woods, and the north central mountains provide good habitat. The hunting here, spot and stalk, or still hunting, hunters trying to find those big bucks before the bucks find them. And the shots, especially in the early season in October, can be long.
And they'll start moving out of all this brush and timber about 5 o'clock.
We want to be up there or get a little more
That's
elevation.
it. That's what we're going to do. I want to get up on top.
Boy, I tell you what, Skeets, for a 64-year-old, is a ball of fire. This guy is go, go, go.
In anticipation, we did a tremendous amount of scouting, but we've had very, very warm weather up until about 4 or 5 days ago. So I became very excited because our temperatures went from the 40s at night down into the 20s. And of course the whitetail have started to move, particularly the bucks.
No, he's not. He's looking at those does.
He was.
There's 3 of them now. See him?
Yep.
Oh, he's still got to get closer, but man. I'm afraid you're going to spook there, Skeets. Let's try it. We've got nothing else to do. It's wide open down here. What else can we do about it?
Man, can you believe how these deer are just coming out? This is not even where we were last night when we saw the 7. This is 3 other deer that we haven't seen.
I don't feel good about a shot.
It's about 350 right now.
Oh, that's too long a shot. The light's getting low. That angle. 367.
Not bad, I called it.
Yeah,
17 yards, I'm sorry.
I don't want to take that shot.
Okay. Let's try to get a little closer. We'll cut another 50, 75.
That little guy's looking right at us.
He sure is.
Blow. But we've got nothing to lose at this point. Let's go.
We were going to have to walk in the open, and it was just a judgment call. Let's just try it and see what happens. If the bucks are not paying a lot of attention to what's going on way down there, they might not spook, and it seemed to be working pretty well. I think we could have probably pulled it off had we had a little more time. I don't even think that they left because we spooked them so much as that they were just working their way up that bluff towards those upper wheat fields.
They flared out and over the top. Last one. We just needed to start a little earlier, I think.
Okay.
He never showed me anything but his backside, never turned broadside, went up and over the top. We just decided it was getting a little bit too dark and it wasn't worth the risk anymore. So we backed off and called it a day. Saw quite a few deer, a couple and so-so bucks and that one nice buck. So it was encouraging, but you know, it wasn't a slam dunk, my gosh, we're gonna just pick out the biggest 160 of the lot. That certainly wasn't going to happen. And that's all in keeping with that October hunt. You just don't get to see a lot of big bucks this early.
They're gonna be right there.
They'll be right in your face.
Pat Sullivan hit the woods one day last November, all fired up. He knew at least one great buck was roaming his Wisconsin hunting area. Back in September, Sully got 2 trail camera pictures of a buck that would push 175. At 1 o'clock, Sully saw a good deer crossing the saddle, moving at a good clip, long tines riding high. He grabbed his 7mm and mouth bleed. The buck stopped and he fired. Sully lost the deer in the scope for a second, then picked him up running straight at him. He couldn't believe he might have missed the shot, but he fired again and the giant went down. What a buck. Mainframe 6x4 with great character. Split G2 and G3 on the right side, 21 inches inside, gross score 179. Sully told me, you know, Mike, I feel blessed for the experience to harvest such a magnificent animal. I hope every hunter can someday feel that same exhilaration that I did, no matter the size of the rack. And that, my friends, is what this deer hunting is all about. For more great big buck stories like Sully's, check us out on the web at versuscountry.com.
I've never hunted whitetail in Washington. Kurt's been trying to get me here for quite some time now. I have hunted with him. I took him turkey hunting, and finally, after years and years of frustration, he went with me and I called a big tom in and he was able to kill it. So he finally got his turkey. And ever since then, he's been trying to repay me and he hasn't come across yet. I took him on a bear hunt, got him his biggest bear, like 7 feet, 29 inches or something. It was just huge. So he got his biggest bear with me. I took him to Africa, introduced him to the best PH in Africa, and he got the biggest kudu of his life and the biggest eland of his life. And you know, he owes me so much that if I shoot a new world record whitetail, he'll still owe me.
I met Ron, I think it's been 15 years ago. We've been good friends ever since. We've hunted from British Columbia to Africa. I think we do a fair amount of good-natured ribbing. He's been a good friend. He can take it pretty well. I think he dishes it out a little bit better. So we've had a lot of fun. We've known each other for quite a few years, and he deserves most of the smack he gets, I think.
You never know what. Yeah, thanks, Kurt. Deer pellets, right? Are they chocolate?
I told you I shot that clip springer at 496 last year. Yeah, right. Our new metric system over there, that was centimeters. I got it on video. I bet.
It's the problem with the guys, he can't shoot, and he's old and slow, and we got to try and get him in close. And this particular ranch has lots and lots of deer and lots of opportunities. So I think he's brought 4 boxes of shells, and we're hoping we can close this deal by the end of it.
What, is this guy an idiot? What's he saying?
From no more than 500,000 deer and limited ranges a century ago, the whitetail population is today approaching historic highs and occupies almost every part of the country, including Washington State.
Second morning, Kurt suggested we try that deep grass over at his place. He's got some upland stuff surrounded by the wheat fields, and as local hunters stir up the area, the bucks, of course, find the undisturbed places.
We're going to come down. There's going to be a little draw down here, and to the right there's going to be canary grass about that deep on you. Yep, and lots of times there's either nothing in there. A lot of times there's a decent buck, but if they get up, they're going to get up right in your face. Okay?
In my face?
Somebody's face. Okay, the first day I wasn't involved in this thing, and the little general couldn't seem to come up with a deer. I think they saw quite a few, just couldn't make it happen, so I got involved the second day.
You know, part of the trick is hearing them get up and then moving. You're clear to the right, so if something gets up, start moving right, they're going to have a tendency to come back to the timber. All right. So you want me to be on this side, you on that side?
Yep.
You take the best spot, man.
Okay. All right. The grass, it's a great way to hunt. Typically, there's nothing in it for the deer except cover, so they'll start moving in there after they've been pushed. And I've been doing this for years. It's snap shooting. The deer have a tendency to get up relatively close. The bigger the deer, the closer you got to get them up. And it's an exciting way to hunt, because when it starts to happen, all you're looking at is antlers and eyeballs.
And just keep, once you start in, keep moving. Take your time. I'm going to move up here and then just dump down in that ditch, and that's deep. Okay.
Kurt has got this flat, grassy area surrounding a lake, a little bit of cattail stuff, some bulrushes, and tall, tall grass. And he's jumped some big bucks out of that, which just is a reminder of what I used to do back in the Dakotas in the cattail sloughs. So it's worth it if you've got the energy and the time, especially at midday when they're bedded. You might as well jump in there and get some work done. I'll never get a shot in this mess.
This walking in the deep grass, it helps a little bit if you're tall, which was Ron's problem. He was having to jump up and down a lot, really to try and see over. Some of that grass must have been 3 or 4 feet high.
There's a doe going out the far end. The doe?
Tahoe, a doe.
Just that one doe or two?
There was one coming out the backside and then one up here, but usually it just seems like it takes them a little longer in the season until they start augering into that deep canary grass. There's really nothing in it for them other than a place to hide.
Oh yeah, but it's a great hiding place. My God, there's beds all over it.
Lots and lots of beds.
Just like we did back in the Dakotas as a kid.
But there should have been something laying in it.
Yeah.
It's like there's lots of tracks, but there's nothing standing
Yeah,
there.
but they had plenty of grass on your neighbor's side of the fence too.
Yep.
Oh, that was a good try, man. I mean, that would have been right there.
Yep.
I thought we were going to jump a big one, just based on the beds I was finding. And it wasn't 1, 2, 3. I stopped counting at 7 beds, and we had just gotten started.
There's another bed, Kurt. Another bed. They're all over in here.
And if Kurt stays out of his place for those 3 or 4 days, the bucks learn that it's the quiet spot, and they, as Kurt says, they auger in that deep grass. So we probably pushed it a little bit on that. We should have waited another day or two, but you know me, I'm always antsy. I want to get at it. We gave it a try.
A drive is among the most basic of all hunting techniques, with drivers funneling a buck toward a hunter waiting downwind on a stand. For safety, drivers and hunters must know where one another are and must not wander from the line of the drive. Drivers don't want to panic deer by whistling and shouting, but should walk like clumsy still hunters, stepping on a leaf or snapping a twig every so often. Winchester Whitetail Revolution is brought to you by Winchester Ammunition, the American legend. Bushnell Optics, Magnify Life. Code Blue, perfecting the science of hunting. Winchester Repeating Arms, the guns that work.
Because we've tried most of the things. We've done some drives in the brush down in the canyons. We've done the sitting and glassing in the evening and the morning. And we've done those upland grass bedding areas. So now it's, you know, into your 3rd morning, and boy, I'd like to get going. So we talked it over and decided that sitting and glassing was probably our best bet.
Particularly down here in the canyon part of the country, it's the same as out west, glassing. You got these deer moving across you'll get these benches out there. You've got brush pockets, you got buckbrush, and the tiniest little pieces of brush can hold a really big buck. So if you can get a good sunny slope, typically, you know, when the weather starts getting cold, they're going to be on that sunny side just like the mule deer are, and you can cover a lot of ground, you can see a lot of ground.
Like 7 of them I've got. Kurt, what do you think?
Yep.
I mean, I haven't seen horns on that one, but he bent down to fight that.
Just two fighting. The one on the right.
He's a baby.
Yeah, you're right.
They're all babies.
They're all baby.
Here's a better buck. Coming across the hillside. Look at this.
I don't
He's
see
got
him.
some antlers. I can see it with my naked eye. Right in the sunshine, coming in that open grass. Just came out of the forest.
That's not a bad deer. That's not bad at all.
Hey, he's got a 4x4, I think.
And he's got 5 on the right side.
Yep, you're right. You're right. By golly, I think it's either he's got forked G2 or he's got another tine there. I can't quite tell. Well, he's in those trees now.
Ron, I think you ought to shoot him.
You think so?
I think you ought to shoot him.
Well, he's got to get out in the clear. Is he coming out?
At 320.
You know, I always wait till the last frickin' day and then nothing happens and I'm screwed. We're gonna shoot him.
Get a score on him.
135.
Tell me when.
I want to get him broadside. He's still moving.
You're gonna speed this up, Ron. He's gonna make it to that brush. You got it. Yell at him when you're ready.
Yeah, he's not gonna stop, is he?
No, yell at him.
Hey! Hey! Here we go.
You maybe a little back. It was a good solid hit. He's moving right.
He's in those bushes. He's got to be dead in there. Let's just watch. Let's just watch. I'll be ready in case he comes out. But I'll bet
Too
he
thick.
fell over in
He's
there.
not going to come out of
Did
there.
it look like a good hit?
He may have been a little far back, but he was good. I think it's a good hit. I think a pretty good hit.
Let's run over there.
Well, there ain't gonna be any running. It's a long way down this canyon up the other side.
Well, I'm gonna run anyway.
I can carry you.
Okay, that'll be even better. You run, I'll ride.
Hmm.
Man, it's frost down here. Cold. Yeah. Look out for that bank. Right, it's up that way now. Right? About how far? This is it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Man, it looks different from over here.
I think it was longer than we originally thought it was. He came in from the left. He's up
He's
here.
got to be right in there.
Yeah, he came in from this side. I'm gonna come in this way. You come around over here.
If he breaks out, if he's not dead, he's going to try to run down these bush line right down back in the bottom, I think.
I think you're right.
The wounded deer's going to go downhill. All right, I'll be ready. I'll get over this side. You let me know what's happening. I mean, go ahead and shout if you have to. Let me know if he's coming out or if he's going over the top or whatever he does.
Okay, go get set up. I'm gonna veer to the left here, and if you hear me hollering, get ready. Ronnie, he's coming to the right.
What? Oh, I see him, I see him. You're coming up behind him now. Here goes. I got him. He's gonna fall over now. Down. You're not cold anymore, buddy.
I don't think that's a bad deer.
No, he's nice. Yeah, he's down. He's hit hard on the shoulder in that one.
Now we're talking.
Yeah, hell sure.
He wants to ride home in the truck.
He does. He's going to.
And then he came out on this little rock outcropping, nice and clear, standing right up there, and I could see I definitely had hit him. I'd made a pretty poor shot, a little too far back. It wasn't in the lungs like I'd wanted it to be, but I got a second shot into him real quick. And that put him right down. And it was a good buck.
There he is. Is that him? That's him? Oh, shoot.
That's him.
Right there. Perfect. That's a good little deer. Oh, yeah. Right on the point of the shoulder.
I thought he had 5 on one side. He does.
He does, you bet. 5 before.
So all in all, it was a darn good hunt, good introduction to Washington, and I certainly want to come back and try it again. But next time I want to try for that late season draw tag. If I can get that and hunt this place in the rut, woohoo, look out. I think we'll come up with a 160.
Look at that. He's been ripping it up. Yeah, he left this one post out in the middle of this grass. Skeets, I've seen these poles look like hourglasses. They use them once they get started, they'll just use it and use it and use it. Because it gets all marked up with their scent and the bucks get used to visiting it.